I'll begin by creating a new component for my handheld transceiver. Once this is done, I'll use the Create Form tool to go into the sculpt environment. This time, instead of creating an open body or converting a face, I'll start a box primitive. I'll roughen a size around the coil, set up symmetry so that it's easier to make sure that changes made to one side are made to the other. And then I'll start the Edit Form tool and begin the process of making modifications. I'll make a lot of modifications, making changes to faces, inserting edges, making all the changes that I think are necessary in order to get the shape and the look that I want. I'll use the Flatten tool to make the bottom more flat. The Edit Form tool gives you the ability to move, rotate, and scale faces, edges, and vertices in a T-spline body. When I'm done, I'll click Finish Form and it will turn into a solid model. Now I'm able to start thinking about how I'm going to connect this to the main body. I'll start out by creating a sketch on the back of the input coil. With this, I'll use the Extrude tool. I'm going to extrude two distances and make sure that I select all the profiles. I don't want to cut. Instead, I'm going to tell it to go ahead and join to this body. I'll then create a sketch and sketch out where my cord is going to connect to this handheld. I'll set the diameter. I'll set an extrusion. And then just like with the main housing, I want to make sure that I'm seeing this body the way it will look. So I'll go back to my appearance overrides, grab the one that's already in the library. But because I joined the two extrusions, they take on the appearance as well. Well, I really want those to have a different appearance, so I'll go back to the appearance overrides, grab my glossy plastic and apply it to the face instead of the body or the component. Now's a great time to save my work. Actually, I probably should have saved a couple of times by now, but sometimes you get on a roll. That's why it's great that Fusion 360 has an autosave feature built in. I'll reactivate my handheld and go to the Create pull-down and start the Coil tool. How coil works is you start out with a circle that's going to define the diameter of the coil. I'll set the section size. I have options for what sort of section I could use. I, of course, want circular. I'll set the length. I can make modifications to the diameter. I can make modifications to a taper angle for the coil. I can change the number of coils. There's just a lot of different items I can experiment with to get the look and the feel that I want. I'll set some values up. And when I'm done, I'll click OK to get my coil. Now I'll use Move and Copy to make some modifications to the position of my coil. I'll just kind of speed through this process. Now I'm ready to make the connections between the coil, the handheld transceiver, and the main body. I'll start by using the Spline tool and setting a sketch plane. I want the sketch plane to be based on the table that this will be sitting on, since my cord would be resting on the table. I want to make sure that in the sketch palette, 3D sketch is turned on. And then I'll zoom in and find the center of the round face that I want to connect to on the handheld. I'll select that for my first spline point, and then just start roughly putting in a spline path. I'll zoom in and find the center of the face on the coil. You'll see it highlights in green. I can hit the check mark. Now I have my points. This is another place where I can use the Move Copy tool. I can grab the points and move them through three-dimensional space. What I want to make sure is that the transition of the spline is smooth into the coil and that the transition is smooth into the handheld as well. Once I have it done, I'll go to the Create pull-down and start the Sweep tool. For my sweep profile, I'll just select the end of the face on the coil and then select the sketch from my path. When I do this, I see a problem immediately. I'll click OK, but you see that the color of the handheld has changed. This is because when I created that extrusion, I did a join. What I should have done is made it a new body. So I'll edit that from the timeline with a double click and change it from a join to a new body. Now you see the color overrides look good, and I'm able to continue working. I'll do the same basic process to connect the back of the main unit to the other end of the coil. I'll make the refinements necessary to make sure everything's aligned well, and then do the exact same sweep using the other end of the coil. Now my design looks like what I had in mind before I started using Fusion 360 to realize it as a 3D model.